r/AskReddit, pet owners of Reddit, what is the biggest flex your pet attempted? We have a specific plant in our garden, euphorbias for garden nerds, and my dog wouldn't stop shitting on them specifically. So I took some firewood planks and stuck them in the ground as a makeshift fence around them. It worked for a few days until she crawled past the gap between the plant and the hedge, did a reverse turn, and shit on my plant again. Persistence at its best. I have 5 cats. The youngest will wait until I clean every litter box in the house and throw the bag in the trash to decide that she wants to poop in one box and then pee in another. I wondered for a while if this is the only time she goes and is just picky about having a clean box, but it's not. This happens literally every time I clean their boxes. She'll sit and watch me as I'm cleaning them too. One time he managed to get 3 tennis balls in his mouth at the dog park. He hasn't been able to do it again since that one time, but he routinely walks around with 2 in his mouth and looks at the other dogs like check me out. At the dog park, years back, we were approaching a pond. There was this big dog in the water that looked horribly disfigured like it must have tried fetching a live M80 and had his mouth blown apart. Poor thing. Whatever, life goes on. He was happily playing with 2 other dogs in the water. As I got closer, trying to discreetly check out his messed up mouth parts, the fucker drops 3 fucking tennis balls out of his mouth and suddenly goes back to being a normal ass, non-disfigured boxer, or similar breed. I don't even think that was his maximum capacity, to be honest. My rabbit when I went out of town for a weekend. I lined up someone to stay with her. I was just heading back to my house when I got the call to get home now because the rabbit was acting weird, listless, turning down treats, all things that point to the beginnings of GI stasis, which is bad. I get home and sit with her for about 20 minutes. Yep, she's showing signs. Get her to the emergency vet. $300 for the vet to tell me her diagnosis. Drama queen. The rabbit was just upset that I wasn't home. Our rabbit pulled this when we got back from a trip. We were heartbroken to leave her overpass until a nurse called and said she looked great and was currently sitting in a salad bowl surrounded by food. They are such smart jerks sometimes. One time my bad was really mad about bedtime. She flew to the curtain, peeped loudly until I watched, then pooped on the curtain while looking straight at me. She was poop trained and definitely knew what she was doing. I'm always startled by how freaking smart birds are. A friend of mine has an African grey, has owned her for 20 years or so. The friend got married about 7 years ago, and the bird is well aware that the husband is the new guy. Half the time, when he tells it to do something, like be quiet, the response he gets is a very salty "I'm not your bird," then yells Diane, because the husband has no street cred at all. Okay, so this is a little gross, just FYI. My golden retriever brought back a whole leg once. A whole leg. From hoof to hip. Saw him walking up from the field and thought he had a big stick, until I saw the pink dangly bits. Absolutely no idea where he got it. I search our entire 12-acre property and the adjoining neighbor's 20 acres. Didn't find anything. He was so proud of it too. Didn't try to eat it or anything. Just proudly brought it back to show me like it was his new special stick and I would throw it for him. My mom was horrified. The best part was the dog's name was Buck. One of my dogs used the other dog as a stepping stool to climb up on the couch. Straight up walked up the one laying next to the couch to get up there. Just blatant disrespect. I have a 14-year-old coonhound who gets stuff like this all the time from the other dog. She's like, I'm just going to keep laying here. I adopted this feral calico cat and she just barely tolerated me for 19 years. She was a real pain in the ass, especially medically, cost me a small fortune. But hey, I made the commitment. I used to say, any day now, it's gonna happen. We are gonna bond. Then, she was suddenly hanging out on my bed. I looked around one night and was like, wait, WTF? There's no food or water, no toys, there's nothing up here for you, unless, is it me? A week later, she died. Made the entire 19 years worth it. My dog hardly ever barks and is very well behaved. When we go for walks, every dog we walk past in my neighborhood barks ferociously at him. He pees in their yards. Only in their yards. My dog does the same thing. She remembers which houses have the rowdy dogs and slows her pace to almost a standstill until they bark from the windows or their yards. She then squats down to pee while making eye contact with them. Never a bark out of her though. Then she trots along with the happiest, proudest gait she can muster. Every time I'm cleaning up dog poop, my dog will squat down right next to me and drop a giant steaming load of shit. My significant other's dog turns over her food bowl every single time she's left by herself. She'll even do it when she knows you're leaving, but haven't left just yet. I bought my 10-pound dogs this gigantic plush bed to put on my side of the bed because I'm tired of sleeping with them. Figured I'd have to baby gate them there for the first few nights, but not bad. The first night it went okay, a little whining, quickly settled down, and went to sleep. The second night, my girl dog, who I've had since she was a puppy, decided she was not going to stand for this inhumane mistreatment and literally stood on her back feet and screamed. I've never heard a dog make the fucking noise this bad she was making. I thought she was dying. I moved the baby gate to get to her and she stopped screaming and hopped up on my bed and curled up like she usually does, like nothing was ever wrong. I have a pot-bellied pig named Luo. I was outside on my patio working on a craft project while I let him run around the yard. He kept coming up and bumping against the table to see if I had a treat or would pet him and messing me up, so I put a spray bottle of water next to me. He knows it and doesn't like getting sprayed, so will stay away and exercise instead of bothering me. I went inside for a minute, came back out, and the spray bottle was way on the other side of the yard, and Luo had climbed into my seat and was standing there happily wagging his little pigtail. I had a foster dog once, and while we weren't home she somehow scooting her crate all the way into the living room and managed to stick her entire head through the bars to chew through one of the important cords on our TV. So we were left without sound for like 2 months. You don't watch TV from now on, you watch me. You understand, human? Look at me, I'm the TV now. I put my pet mouse in a tall wooden box without a lid because I thought he couldn't climb that high. He shat in the box and covered his paws in it, which I think provided him with the friction required to climb. He made it to the top and I had to put him back into the box, but it was quite impressive. I showed my new hamster to my best friend and he started pulling his own shit out of his bud with his teeth and threw it at us. The hamster, not the friend.